The enemy in the breadbasket. Imagine being told that the very foods that have sustained civilizations, that's it at the heart of your family dinners, are now your enemies. A slice of warm bread, a bowl of steaming rice, a fluffy baked potato. For millions, these are not comforts. They are triggers. Each bite feels like a calculated risk, a gamble with an invisible meter that dictates your health, your energy, your future. The standard advice? Cut them out, eliminate them. But this is a battle against human nature, against culture, against the very essence of how we feed ourselves and our loved ones. It's a war that most are destined to lose. But what if everything you've been told about these staple foods is only half the story? What if the problem isn't the food itself, but a missing piece of ancient, almost forgotten, wisdom? Today, we are not going to talk about restriction. We are going to talk about reinvention. This is how you can eat bread, rice, and potatoes without the devastating blood sugar spikes. We begin our journey not in a modern lab, but in the quiet microbial world within you. Picture your digestive system as a high-speed processing plant. When you eat a piece of white bread, it's like a VIP package arriving. It's rushed straight to the front of the line, broken down with dizzying efficiency. Its contents, pure glucose, are dumped directly into your bloodstream. The factory alarms blare. Your pancreas, the overworked manager, scrambles to deploy its team of insulin to clean up the mess. Day after day, meal after meal, this cycle of spike and crash continues. The manager grows weary. The workers become resistant to the constant alarms. This is insulin resistance. This is the slow, steady path to metabolic dysfunction. But what if we could send that same piece of bread on a different route? A scenic, slower path that bypasses the chaos? This is where our first and most powerful tool comes into play. The phantom starch. Most starches are designed for rapid digestion, but a special type, known as resistant starch, operates in stealth mode. Your digestive enzymes are virtually blind to it. They try to process it, but fail. So this resilient starch travels, intact, on a journey deep into your large intestine. Here, it is not broken down by you, but by the trillions of bacteria that call your gut home. This is not digestion. It's fermentation. And this microbial feast produces something extraordinary. Short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate. Think of butyrate as a soothing balm for your metabolic machinery. It calms systemic inflammation, it heals the lining of your gut, and most crucially, it whispers to your cells to become more sensitive to insulin's call. It turns a potential enemy into a powerful ally. So how do you transform a common potato into this phantom starch? The secret lies not in a rare ingredient, but in a simple, almost magical process of temperature manipulation. It's a culinary sleight of hand known as starch retrogradation. When you cook a starchy food, the granules swell and gelatinize, becoming easily digestible. But when you cool it, something remarkable happens. The molecules, in a desperate attempt to return to their ordered state, realign and crystallize into a new, tightly bound structure that fiercely resists digestion. You have, in essence, changed its very nature. The science is robust. Studies show that cooling cooked rice or potatoes to refrigerator temperatures for several hours can increase their resistant starch content by several-fold, and the clinical result. When people eat this cooled and reheated version, their post-meal glucose and insulin levels are significantly, measurably lower. It's the same food, the same calories, but a completely different metabolic outcome. This means your pasta salad, your sushi rice, your potato salad foods often already served cold are not just convenient. They are covertly smarter. You can bake a potato, chill it overnight, and reheat it for lunch. The taste and texture are nearly identical, but the impact on your body is transformed. You are not giving up your cultural staples. You are upgrading them. You are hacking the very chemistry of your food to work for you, not against you. But mastering the phantom starch is only the first step, because what you eat with your carbohydrates, and the order in which you eat them creates a powerful symphony of metabolic control. But what happens next will change everything, because the secret to taming your blood sugar doesn't stop with a cold potato. The very sequence in which you lift your fork can unleash a metabolic storm, or create an oasis of calm, and this is where the video takes a shocking turn. Welcome back. We've unlocked the secret of the phantom starch, transforming simple carbs into metabolic allies. But food is rarely eaten alone. A meal is a complex ecosystem, and every ingredient interacts. This is where we move from kitchen chemistry to the art of the plate. This is about strategic synergy. Think of your bloodstream as a narrow, peaceful village road. Eating a naked carb, a plain piece of bread. A bowl of white rice by itself is like releasing a stampede of wild horses down that quiet street. Chaos, panic, and damage are inevitable. But what if, before the horses were released, you could strategically place obstacles, slow them down, and guide their path? That is the power of food pairing. Let's break down the allies in this strategic operation. First, protein. Imagine a steak, a piece of fish, or a ladle of lentils. When you consume protein alongside your carbohydrates, it triggers the release of hormones like glucagon, like peptide-1 GLP-1. This hormone does two critical things. It slows down gastric emptying, meaning the exit door from your stomach into your intestines is held partially closed. This creates a slow, steady drip of glucose into your system instead of a flood. Furthermore, studies, including a comprehensive meta-analysis of over 150 trials, confirm that adding protein can slash the glucose surge from a meal by up to 50%. Rice and beans, therefore, isn't just a cultural staple. It's a physiological masterstroke. Next, fat, a drizzle of olive oil, a pat of butter on your potato. Fats are the ultimate pacifiers. They further delay stomach emptying and can modulate how quickly insulin itself is cleared from your bloodstream, allowing it to work more effectively over a longer period. This isn't a license for excess, but a recognition that healthy fats are crucial conductors in this metabolic orchestra, blunting the sharp, early peaks of glucose. Then there is the acid factor. This is the stealth weapon. Vinegar, lemon juice, fermented vegetables. When you add acid to a meal, you are essentially pre-digesting the starch in a beneficial way. The acidic environment lowers the pH in your stomach, which in turn slows the activity of the enzyme amylase, the primary starch digesting enzyme. It's like putting a governor on the engine. Research shows that just a tablespoon of vinegar before a meal can improve insulin sensitivity in your muscles and reduce the glucose spike by up to 30%. It works by subtly telling your liver to produce less glucose on its own. It's a simple, potent, and ancient trick hiding in your pantry, but the most profound behavioral change. You can make costs nothing and requires no special ingredients. It's the sequence of satiety. Your stomach is not a blender that purees everything instantly. It processes what you give it in layers. If you start your meal with the bread basket, you are front-loading the stampede. The horses are already running wild before you've even built your defenses. Now flip the script. Begin with a plate of leafy greens and a protein source. You are now laying down the obstacles. The fiber from the vegetables forms a physical mesh, slowing everything down. The protein is triggering those calming hormones. Then, and only then, do you introduce the carbohydrates. The horses are now released into a prepared, controlled environment. The result? The exact same meal, eaten in a different order, produces a gentler, flatter, far safer glucose curve. A pivotal study on individuals with type 2 diabetes demonstrated this with stunning clarity. Eating protein and vegetables before carbohydrates led to a 40% lower glucose spike and a 31% lower insulin demand. Your body handled the same fuel with dramatically more efficiency. Simply because of the order in which it was consumed. In a restaurant, push the bread basket aside. Eat your salad and your main protein first. Then, if you still wish, enjoy your carbs. This isn't deprivation. It's intelligent design. Yet, even with the perfect plate and the perfect sequence, there is one more powerful, immediate action you can take. An action that engages the most powerful glucose disposal system in your body, one that's been with you all along. Most people never hear the next part, and that's the real danger, because the final key to unlocking metabolic freedom isn't found on your plate at all. It's waiting, dormant, in a single, overlooked muscle in your body. And what it can do in just 10 minutes will defy everything you thought you knew about exercise and blood sugar. The calf muscle secret and the body's clock. We have transformed our carbs. We have orchestrated our plates. Now we activate the most immediate and powerful glucose disposal system you possess. It's not a pill. It's not a machine. It's the simple, profound act of movement, but not just any movement. We are targeting a specific metabolic powerhouse. I want you to forget the idea of a grueling, hour-long workout for a moment. The most potent glucose-lowering activity you can do is a gentle 10-minute walk immediately after you finish your meal. Why is this so effective? The answer lies in a remarkable muscle called the soleus. This is the broad, flat muscle that runs from just below your knee to your heel. It's the muscle that allows you to stand on your tiptoes, and it is the key to walking. The soleus is uniquely composed of slow-twitch muscle fibers. These are endurance engines designed for sustained, low-intensity activity without fatigue. And they are ravenously hungry for glucose. When you walk after a meal, you are essentially flipping a switch. You are diverting the incoming stream of glucose from your bloodstream directly into these hungry soleus muscle cells, bypassing the need for a large insulin response. It's like opening a dedicated overflow channel during a flood. Studies, including randomized controlled trials, consistently show that a post-meal walk can lower the postprandial glucose spike by a significant margin. It doesn't have to be a power walk, pacing around your home, cleaning the kitchen, taking the stairs. Any light activity that engages your legs will activate this mechanism. The soleus, quite literally, soaks up the sugar, preventing the metabolic chaos that would otherwise follow. This brings us to our final, and perhaps most overlooked principle, the chronobiology of consumption. Your body is not a static machine. It operates on a powerful 24-hour rhythm, a circadian clock that governs every metabolic process. Throughout human history, food was scarce after dark. Our bodies evolved to be most efficient at processing fuel when the sun is high. As evening descends, our system begins to wind down. Our cells naturally become more resistant to insulin. The pancreas, which secretes insulin, becomes less responsive. It's preparing for rest and repair, not for digestion. To make matters worse, the hormone melatonin, which rises in the evening to signal sleep, has a direct, suppressive effect on insulin secretion. This is a cruel evolutionary paradox. Eating late at night, when your body is least prepared to handle it, creates a perfect storm for high blood sugar. Numerous studies have confirmed this. The same meal eaten at p.m. will produce a significantly higher and more prolonged glucose spike than the identical meal eaten at p.m. Your body is fighting against its own internal clock. The later you eat, the worse your glucose control will be, even if the meal itself is seemingly healthy. Therefore, one of the most powerful strategies is to compress your eating window and finish your last meal of the day at least 3, ideally 4, hours before you go to sleep. This gives your body adequate time to process the incoming fuel before the nocturnal insulin resistance fully sets in. It's not just what you eat or how you eat it, but when. So let's assemble the complete arsenal. You are no longer a passive victim of your diet. You are a metabolic conductor. Transform your carbs. Use the power of cooling and reheating to create resistant starch. Build a strategic plate. Never eat naked carbs. Always pair them with protein, healthy fats, fiber, and acid. Master the sequence. Eat your vegetables and protein first, saving your carbohydrates for the end of the meal. Move after eating. Take a 10-minute walk to activate your soleus muscles and divert glucose from your bloodstream. Respect your clock. Eat your last meal early, giving your body time to process it before its natural insulin resistance sets in at night. This is not a diet of denial. This is a philosophy of empowerment. It's about understanding the levers of your own biology and pulling them with intention. You can still break bread with your family. You can still enjoy the rice that connects you to your heritage. You can still savor the potato that has fed generations. But now you do it with knowledge. You do it with strategy. You do it with control. The roller coaster can be stopped. The peace you seek with your food is not a distant dream. It is a choice, a sequence, and a step away. The foods you love don't have to be your enemies. Your body is not broken. It's waiting for you to speak its language. Go forward and eat without fear.